Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Medeek Wall plugin. My name is Nathaniel P. Wilkerson, and today I wanted to discuss stairs again, and specifically I wanted to discuss modern stairs. So let's go ahead and just jump into this by creating a flight of stairs here just to start with. We're just going to leave options as they are. And when I'm talking about modern stairs, usually I'm talking about those ones you see with the kind of has the open risers and like a steel framework underneath instead of the typical stringers that you see here with this sort of situation. So I haven't actually made this module or tool, I guess, specifically for modern stairs. I mean, I'm thinking more of the old school. You know, you've got your wood stringers, you got your risers, you've got your treads, and that sort of thing. But the funny thing is I've made a few little updates and additional options available so that you can kind of approximate what I would call a modern staircase. So to do that, what I've done is, let's go ahead and open this edit menu real quick, get that started. Okay, so the first option that I wanted to point out that I've changed is if you go here to a stringer quantity. Now, stringer quantity is normally 3 or maybe 2 or sometimes 4. That's kind of your typical numbers, but we now have the option for 1. Okay, and so now it will draw that stringer right dead center underneath the center of those treads. Okay, so that's our start. Now, of course, typically something like that, you're going to have a big steel sort of I don't know what you want to call it, structural steel sort of big stringer in there. So first of all, let's go ahead and open up those risers so we can see what we've got going on here. Okay, and so let's change that stringer width or thickness to 3.5 inches. It's probably going to be made out of tube steel or something like that. And then the material, I custom made a material in my custom library. I just call it black steel. It's just like it's like a black steel paint. It's nothing special. It's kind of dark actually, but it works. So there's our approximation of a cartoon essentially of a steel stringer that's holding up those big treads. Okay, so typically with something like this, when you do that, usually you're gonna have thick treads, and they're usually square. I've looked at a few websites and kind of got my head wrapped around this, but honestly, I'm no expert on modern stairs to be honest. So bear with me here a little bit. So let's go ahead and go square on those. Let's change that just to timber, for instance. And then let's change that thickness on those. Typically they're going to be a little thicker. They're kind of like a chunky look, I call it. Let's go like, say, 2.5 inches thick on those. Okay, I mean, I could spend all day playing with these options. Okay, so that kind of looks like something you might see, right, with a modern type stairs. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and enable advanced options, and I'm going to well, we'll get to the handrails here in a second, but let's first start with just a L-shaped landing. That's easy enough. And let's go ahead and hit update on that. Okay, so with this landing, same sort of thing. This is kind of set up to show like a typical landing that's framed in. We've got your 3/4 inch sheathing for the floor. And then, this solid that's underneath it is basically representing the framed floor. I haven't got into the details yet with framed floors, but so this just essentially it's a placeholder, right? I mean, that's really what it is. But for this application, we may not want to show that placeholder, and we may want to change that in the thickness of that sheathing to match the treads. And so that is exactly what I'm going to do here. So first of all, we got that sheathing thickness. Let's go ahead and set that to 2.5 inches thick. And we're going to change that to timber as well. Hit update on that. Put a little landing extension there just to make it look kind of cool. All right. And this kicks back kind of far. I don't want it going back quite that far. Let's change our underframe on the landing there. Let's say 6 inches is probably good enough. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, so again, this previously you couldn't turn off this the placeholder, right? The framing placeholder. But now I've added one other option here. Notice here it says landing framing, and you can turn that on or off. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off. Okay. So, that's what you get. I mean, again, it's kind of cartoonish. I mean, it kind of gives you a rough approximation of what and you can, of course, do all the adjustments you need to do. You can set your width of your stairs and all that good stuff, just depending on what you've got. Let's just leave it at 40. That looks a little more natural. But it's not giving you all the details. I mean, because this big steel piece would be a weldment, right? And it would have pieces that weld on or however underneath and all that, that secure the treads to the steel. And of course, there's a gap here, right? You would have something floating this out here so it can support that landing. So again, it's a little cartoonish, but I think it kind of gets the idea across. And that's basically the idea with the modern stairs that I'm trying to show you, is that even though I really haven't added a lot of additional programming or coding into the plugin to accommodate modern stairs, the main thing is I just want to show you that we still can kind of get the idea across with what we have existing, just with a few of these additional options, right? So mainly the main I want to show you here is that we've got the stringer quantity. We can set that to 1. We can turn off the framing placeholder for the landings. And then one other kind of minor item really, but it might be of use to you guys. So let's go ahead and turn on the handrails. And so, we've got handrails, 2 sets of stairs. So we've got 2 handrail options here, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and turn that on. Okay, and then I'm going to go, let's go with this LJ6. I'm going to put handrails on both sides. And then I'm going to do a vertical cut, and let's just change that to timber as well. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that works. Okay, and then, same thing on the bottom, of course, right? It's a little bit tedious to work through all this, but just want to show you guys how all that is done. Okay. Okay, oh yeah, we want to put on both, right? Okay, and so we've got handrails on both sides. All right, so, because this is open, kind of a floating staircase, open treads. So let's go ahead now. A lot of times with these modern handrail systems, they don't have posts. I mean, you could do posts, of course. It's kind of up to you. I don't know. I typically don't see that too often, but just to show you kind of, what you can do or can't do. So, you could have your posts. Oh, we have pressure treated lumber on that one. That sort of thing. And, well, let's just leave that as it is for now. So let's go ahead and turn our handrail posts on the bottom one as well. Sorry, there's so many options now. It takes a while to kind of set things up exactly how you want. But, in the end, you kind of get what you want. So that's, I think, a good thing. We could run this so that this is against that type of thing and eliminate one of those posts, I suppose. But I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. Okay. So the one thing I did want to really show you guys with this now is if we turn on the balusters. Okay. Now, balusters typically are, the little picket, like, constructs that go along the sides here, and, so you can't fall off the stairwell. But let's just go ahead and update that. That sort of thing. That's your typical traditional, handrail balusters, right? So that's basically what you've got normally, but what I've actually enabled is one other little option here. Now, if you go to the materials, you can play with these settings, but if you go to the materials here, you're going to notice this built-in glass option, okay? And this size, the baluster size, will actually control the thickness of that glass. So this baluster size is actually acting as 2 kind of parameters here. And of course, when you run the glass, the baluster spacing is going to have absolutely no effect. So there you go. We've got ourselves a glass, I don't know if you call it a handrail or baluster, but yeah, it turns it into glass. So basically the same thing here. Let's go ahead and just turn on the glass and change that to like 1/2 inch, 25 inches, and hit update. Okay, so that is the only material that will do that to the balusters. If you use any other material here, it'll generate the basic, picket-like balusters. But if you want to have like just a plane of glass, on both sides like that, you can opt for that glass option, and that will do that. So there's just a little bit of logic in the code that does that for us. Okay, so finally, I just want to show you. Okay, so we really want to go with that, modern look, I guess. In that case, I am going to actually turn off these posts, and then the post menu goes away. All right, so this is when you kind of a modern look. You'll see stuff like this where there's really not a post. I don't know. They just run glass straight up. Sometimes they have posts in between. But I'm just kind of showing that we're getting ourselves here just a representational sort of model for this handrail. And then last but not least, if you go here under the handrail profile, okay, previously you had circle, square, deck, and then you had all the ones that are in the library. I now have an option for none, and so if you go none, what's going to happen is you are actually going to turn off the handrail. You're still going to have a handrail, with the balusters and the post options, but you will actually turn the handrail itself off. Okay, so then you got that ultimate, glass handrail look. I don't know, it's kind of looks a little too modern for me, but anyways, it is what it is. So yeah, so you got that option as well, so you can turn that off. So anyways, that's pretty much it. That's all I've got for you. Again, this can always be adjusted where you want to place that just by setting the clearance value here. If you want to push that further out or push it in. Let's see, did I update that? I can't remember. Let's go 2.5 here. Yeah, it's changing this one. Sorry. Yeah, so basically, sometimes I see these right up against the edge of the thing, the tread. So you might want to use like a negative value or something to get that effect, right? So there we go. Yeah, so something like that, or maybe it even projects beyond the tread some. It just depends how you want that look. So, anyways, guys, that's about it. Appreciate it, and I think this probably will be the last tutorial video I make on the stair module for now. I think we've kind of beaten this dead horse long enough. So, but I'm always open to more ideas and options. So if you have any other ideas, please feel free to send me an email, shoot me a text, or even give me a call. And I'm always here. So thanks a lot, and we will talk to you all later.